Hello guys, welcome back on my YouTube channel. I'm back again with another video. So in this video I'm just gonna talk about, oh fuck, it's there. I'm just gonna talk about obviously it's more like a motivational video, but I need to share this because I was actually watching a movie. If you know me, I am not a movie fan. Instead, I'm more of a series of drama, especially Korean drama, because I don't find Hollywood movies uh, giving me that vibe unless if it's a cartoon or fantasy or scientific whatsoever movie, because I'm just not into normal movies. Like, you don't find me watching a romantic movie that is not like me watching a Hollywood movie, like or a United States movie or United Kingdom. That is not a cartoon. That is not it's not me. Like, it would never be me. Like, I'm like that. But you get this one that I was actually watching is a scientific movie, a paranormal movie, because obviously I like movies like that. So what happened is, while I was watching this movie, I got a lot of download. And you know what, I was like, because I was, I was bored. And I was bored with what I wanted to do, because I planned, like I planned of my weekend, how my weekend, things that I want to do. And then out of the blue I find myself being drawn to this movie. I found myself like, you know what, I don't think whatever that I said to do is aligned with me. I was like, I'm not gonna do this. I think I'm gonna get bored. So I went and switched on TV, and then I watched the movie. And it was like, okay, it was kind of interesting because it's a paranormal. And now he was selecting, and the movie is called a real still. I think it's a 2011 movie. And with it's a robot movie. It's about robot and everything. So what happened is, it was a father that is actually don't give a fuck about his son. So he was planning on selling this son to other people, like for money, because he was so obsessed with robot. He was immature, like he didn't want any kind of commitment. He didn't want anything that would tie him down. So having responsibility of a child, it was something that he did not wanted to do for himself. So what happened is, he ended up trying by all means to get rid of the child. So he was stranded, and it was more like a father that was not there. But it happened that they find himself with this child because they plan to be somewhere. The people want to adopt. They plan to be another. I don't know whether it's another country or another city. I don't know. Like, I didn't like. I just was obsessed with like message in it, because it's not like I was like were there to watch for message. I just find myself being drawn to watch it. So it's not everything like like, I don't know whether the adopt the foster care parent or adoptive parent were going to the another country or city. I'm not sure. So it's something like that, or another state. I'm not sure. So he ended up spending time with this child, and he ended up spending time with this child. Obviously they bonded through robot. He was obsessed with robot. He lost a lot of money through it. Like, it was just a weird movie. But the best part about it, because I told it this movie, it's about motivationally. It's so more like a motivational one. And I was like, you know what, let me just do it. And let me just, I know this was a personal kind of download, but I feel like I need to share them. So this movie, it's about someone who's actually, I mean, this motivation, it's about someone who's feeling like they will never, like, they don't feel like they are strong enough to keep going. They don't feel like that dream will never happen. They don't feel like they are not they're not people who will never understand them. They're too different. They're too this, they're too that, because we are all unique. We are all fucking unique. We're a bunch of diverse people who have our own personality. We have our own ways. We grow different. We are all needed. We are all medicine. We are all needed in this planet. There's a reason why you're still alive. There's a purpose for you to be alive. There's a purpose for you to exist. There's a purpose for you to, because we are all medicine. We all need each other as much as we can be like whatsoever. So we all need each other. It can be like a need that is close. It can be a need that you find geographical needing, because sometimes you need people from another country to hear them, because that's why we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have a social network that make us being able to communicate with other people. Even if you don't communicate, you can be able to be visual and be able to hear whatever that they are sharing. So what happened is, in this movie, and with the download that I got, this movie, it got me to the point where I'm like, you know what, sometimes the rejection that you're experiencing, not sometimes, it's a process. You are being prepared, but your preparation is not like preparation, okay, Hanana, like, hey, Zo, you are being prepared, okay, now you're gonna go through that. No, no, you're not being told, you're just you being there and then experiencing personal things that you find unpleasant, personal things that you find pleasant. You just happen to show up every time. When you're showing up, it's either experience will be unpleasant or experience will be pleasant. For example, you're showing up for interview and got rejected, like not one interview, probably went to a numerous interview to the point that you're running out of money. You have no, like, you don't feel like a motivation to go about with interview. You feel like you will never get accepted. You feel like you just a failure. You feel like a loser. You don't have anything that is tangible that a lot of people have in your age, to the point, because the more you compare yourself, it's more like you're drinking poison. You are drinking poison. You find yourself comparing yourself to others. You are drinking poison. You are killing yourself, because you don't want to see the good in you. It's okay to find yourself in such a places, but I work so hard to find myself, to not compare myself. I did a lot of shadow work, because sometimes I had plans, but uh the spirit, God, my ancestors have another plan for me, and I had to obey. I have to be obedient. I had to lose everything that I actually built. I have to lose everything, like everything, in order for me to listen. So it was something like, I felt like my destiny was something that it was already built before me, or before I was born. It's a conservation that I had before I was born. But because I was living here, a personal experience, I ended up operating more from my ego place rather than my soul place, because I didn't know what I was good at. I didn't know what I can do with my life, besides knowing that I have to go to college and do whatever the other people are doing, which is normal in our society. So this video is someone, is it gonna, like, if you're that person who find yourself like, you're not like people, it's been more than 2 years, more than 3 years, and nothing is moving for you, you're feeling stuck, just know that you are the real still, because you are still living, you're still surviving, you are still holding on, despite how many times you do find something, you find yourself wanting to end your life, you find yourself not wanting to live anymore, you are still holding on, despite the underminement that you're experiencing, despite feeling like you're not being seen, you are not being recognized, you're not being, because sometimes you're in a workplace, because you stay there for, like, in the one position, like, for more than you think like you will ever stay. For 5 years, you still not see any progress. Probably you were only promoted once, as being not being hired. Why they want, it's a confirmation though. So, like, you are finding yourself in a, like, in the same place, probably you have only promoted because you were just, maybe you got a job, you already done internship somewhere, and then you got a job for a permanent, it's the only promotion that you got, it's a permanent one, it's a permanent job. And then what, like that, your permanent job, you've been in the same position, you're not being recognized, how hard you're working, how hard you're doing, they don't care about your effort, they don't care about anything. It's because they are not ready for you, or maybe you need to change the company. Sometimes you just have to change the owner. For the in this movie, there's still the robot, it was a still robot, it has a lot of potential, but because of the owner disposed it, because he felt like it's useless. Oh, this robot is useless, probably he disposed it, like it stayed there for years until that child recognized the robot and be like, this robot can be something. And he felt like this robot saved his life, because in that movie the robot happened to hold him up, even though it didn't hold, it just happened that it slid it to the point that it was able to, the robot to look like it hold him up, and it saved his life. So his father was like, there's no way that you can use this old robot that is useless, that is whatsoever. It's so boosted, like nobody can take you serious, because who can take you serious? Because now the robot are not the same that as the robot that were built more than 10 years ago. Like he tried to discourage his son to not to take that robot, but that son already made his mind, like, I'm gonna take that robot. That robot, I'm just gonna take it. It's gonna be useful for me. So what he did, it happened that as he took the robot, that robot and his father, he lost his robot that was actually recently built. And as that robot, the new robot that he was recently built, it has some equipment that was actually new that can be used for this old robot. So they went to find someone who can fix it, and that robot was fixed. It happened to be put, like, that robot has a lot of potential. But you know what, that robot experienced a lot of rain. It was rain on it. It was looked down on it. It was undermined on it. It was experiencing a lot of, like, a lot of things. It got been abandoned, like it was thrown out. It was discarded. It was discarded as something that would never be useful. So whenever you're feeling like that, just know that it's a phase. Like, it's a phase. Even if that phase lasts for 10 years, even if that phase lasts for 5 years, I don't care. Just know that your time will come. The fact that that robot was recognized by a child, someone who was probably was born before, like, the robot was made before the child was born. There's high possibility for that. We don't know. Maybe it's been there for 15 years. The child is not yet 15 years, and it's still probably 12 years in the movie. I don't know. So I'm talking about that. You don't know when we're gonna be recognized. That's why recently I also watched, like, Oprah with Me show where there's Steve Harvey was actually a guest there. He was talking about his drug. He told us that he started being a comedian when he was 27, but only to find out his man was still awful, like, until he was 37, 38, 39, 40. That how long it took him to be where he is, because now we only see the result. We find ourselves comparing ourselves, like, I will never be like Steve. You don't know what Steve went to until you listen to him about his struggle, because sometimes you need to be rained on, you need to be undermined, you need to go through all this personal experience, you need to remove everything that is no longer aligning to in order for you to be the version of that deserve the blessing that you actually deserve. Sometimes you need to let go of your mentality. Sometimes you need to let go of toxic people. They need to be removed in your life. Sometimes you need to let go of everything, even the things that you built that you thought maybe this is what you wanted, or maybe you needed your friends to betray you in order for you to let them go. Maybe you needed a business partner to take out your business in order for you to be able to stand up for yourself and start over again. You needed that experience. You needed to go through that, because you are being built for a high calling. Whatever the calling that you're actually having, it's huge. It's something that even yourself, you never thought you'd be doing it, because you are thinking in your small mind, in your own situation. Maybe you're viewing your lifestyle and be like, maybe I'll be comfortable buying myself what car. I'll be comfortable buying myself like a small car. Probably that small car, it's a small car. Like, you see yourself in future in it. Like, you see yourself living in, like, in a small house, but you are destined to have it all. Like, you are destined to have, like, a whole mansion that you actually that you really desire, not the one that you view in your own shadow, in your own darkness, in your own problem, that you end up putting yourself in a situation like, I'm comfortable with this car, I'm comfortable. Like, you are destined for. I'm not saying you should be materialistic, but there's nothing wrong with wanting a material possession, as long as you're not a slave into it. You're not allowing yourself to be a slave into it. So something like that, if you want that, then if you want a small car, there's nothing wrong with it either, because I don't see anything wrong with that. It's just that sometimes we have plans that are not aligned with us. In order for us to end up listening, we have to go through all these experiences whereby we are being undermined, whereby we don't, in order for us to, like, there's this thing Rome say that sometimes your heart need to be broken and broken and broken and broken, to be broken to the point that it's open, so the light can shine, because there's no way that you can see any light. You need, like, you don't see anything within, like, you don't see anything in my clothes, right? Until I chose to open, like, holes in order for you to see what is actually happening inside my clothes. You need that. Sometimes the experience need to break you to the point that you find light within yourself. Obviously, some people close their heart for good, but in order for you everything shine through your heart, I usually say things like, my heart, my vagina is my heart. Like, everything that I put in my vagina is something that I can handle. It's something that I know that my heart is, because I know how connected I am. I know how my vagina is connected to my heart. I know how everything is actually connected to my heart. So I don't play with it. I don't just play. I don't play with that. Even if I did in the past with my bad choices, but I just know that this is where everything flow. My heart is everything that flow. Where it flow, I don't need to block it. I can block it temporarily because obvious of the pain. Sometimes we go through that, but I do know that it's not something that I would do forever. It's temporary, and I need to. The reason it has to be blocked. It has to be me being like, I need to invest in myself. I need to see myself in a different light. I need to see a lot of myself that I've never, like, thought I will able to see myself into. So that what happened. That robot needed a new information. That robot needed to be put in what those experience whereby got disposed, it got been thrown out, got to be whatsoever. It got to the point that it was old enough to not be recognized as something that is can anyone can use. It got it got damaged in the point that nobody can ever see anything good in it, so when the other robot died, and it has a new information. That's why you go through those experiences. It's because you are being insected. The more fuckery you go through, the more wisdom that you gain. But it's up to you whether you turn it into wisdom or you turn it into bitterness, because you can go through so much, and a lot of upgrade happen through a lot of upgrade happen to you because of what you have to get the wisdom, we have to get the information, we have to know who you are. That robot didn't got activated until it has to have the information that was happening now. Mind you, it's old. The robot is fucking old. Like, old, like probably 15 years old. It has a now a most made model in order for you to operate. When it operate, they discover that it has something that now robot don't have. Because why, at the time when it was built, it was something that a lot of people didn't recognize its beauty, they didn't recognize its divinity, they didn't recognize its anything that is good in it. So what happened is they disposed, because at the time a lot of people were not available for such information, and it happened to be the only robot now that is real, that is actually a real still. Because why, it has been through a lot so much. It know how to be slow. It know how to when to be patient. It know how to. But the other robot, the robot was called Atom, but the combat it ended up fighting the most new robot that was built, and it was considered unbeatable. It's a robot that nobody ever built it. But the thing with the new robot, it never went through any expense whereby it's losing. It never went to fading. It never, like, they don't know how it works, because why, the robot never lose. The Zisu, is it Zisu, the other robot, the new one, it never went to experience where it loses. It never went to experience whereby you are testing it and you are seeing its potentially. It doesn't have a wisdom beside being fast fighter and beating whoever that is being in competition with and win. It never like okay to it that it can have running out of time. It can be anything like that. But the other robot, because it has a time where it was not working, he was not, anyone was actually recognizing like it has years of being not seen as something that is actually useful. That's what happened when you're feeling like stuck and stagnant. Sometimes you need to let go of things that you're not aware that you need to let go of, Probably you need to let go of that husband of yours or that wife of yours. You just have to let go. You have to let go of the mentality that you only build for going to school, high school, university, and finding a job. Probably you need to let go of that mentality. You need to let go of that society mentality, that society programming, all of that, because we are all gifted. If you're gifted in something, it's something that you need to use eventually. So this is about you being at the real still, because you are still standing despite how much you want to end it, despite how much you want to give up. It's to say, despite how much you feeling like you're being attacked, despite how much a lot of people hate you, even though it's the same people that you did never saw yourself being in a position that you are in with them. Even if those people, the same people that you find yourself, you are very helpful towards them, and the next thing they find you as something that they need to make fun of, they need to do whatsoever. Sometimes you need those experience for you to grow, and you're gonna have a lot of like, why me, why this is happening to me. But you need to understand that everything that is happening for you. It's happening for your own greatness, even though you're not aware yet when is the greatness will come. Because there are people who are born to have a great. I'm not talking about it, but sometimes I feel like you decide greatness. What is greatness to you? Because sometimes because for me, my plan was to have like a very comfortable life, that I don't have to be in the public eyes. I don't have to do anything that require me to be like this. Instead, I saw myself in the real estate, having being a lecturer, where I'm not like I used to be, like being so small. Like I used to see myself in the smallest place, and there's nothing wrong with being a lecturer if it's your calling. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to be a real estate, but there's no way I can let go of real estate. I like no way, like it's no way. So I'm talking about that, but that how I view myself. Like I will never view myself as someone who is able to heal from what she thought she wanted. So sometimes you need those experiences to you are being tested. You are being tested everywhere, emotionally, mentally, spiritual, sexually. Like you are being tested in order for you to receive upgrade everywhere, because you can't grow without you letting go of the package. You can't grow without you having to look within what is actually bothering you. You can't grow without realizing, having awareness of why you behave the way you behave. So sometimes you need all of those experience for you to grow. You need that new information through your experiences. I'm just gonna say this again. Every level of upgrade you're gonna experience in this lifetime, it's gonna have a lot of factor that is actually the same as the upgrade that you got. That's why sometimes uh, um recently I've been said this, like I said something like, I need a new experience that way I can grow. I find myself not growing, not doing it until ever I needed to change my mind to see that I'm actually growing. It's just that I still see what was happening that is unpleasant as something that I didn't see it as something that I need to grow from. Instead, I wanted to see it as something that I needed to remove myself from. Which, yes, it helps, but you need to understand this. When you find your friends or family being against you, hating you, doing witchcraft, doing whatever that they can to end you or to do whatever, or maybe be planning your whatever that they're planning for you to go down. You need to understand this. Sometimes it needed to happen. Like it's painful, yes, it's a painful experience, but it needed to happen for you, because that experience, it's experience that you needed for your own spiritual growth. You needed to push yourself, because there's no way people attack you for no reason. There's a reason why they're attacking you. The reason they're attacking you is because they want you, they are pushing you to your calling, they're pushing you to do the greatness that you are meant to do. They are pushing you to do better. That's why you find that hater be like, oh, why, oh, she's so hateful, like why would she say something like that? But at the end of the day, that hater might be saying something that is truthfully, probably like, um as much I hate to talk about this thing of gaining weight, because I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like people like, ah, you gain weight now, ah, this and that. You know, sometimes we need those nasty comment. You know, for some reason, probably yes, you need to look out on your diet, or maybe you just need to accept yourself as you are. But sometimes those haters, I always say this, haters are God sent. They are God sent too. It's just that they are operating from a low vibrational state, whereby they have to be mean, they have to say it in the most meanest way in order for you to feel like you're confident. They are taking, which is true, they are taking you confident, but sometimes you need those nasty motherfuckers, because they are being sent too. God never said like, I'm gonna send the only pleasant experience in order for you to grow. They need to send these motherfuckers in order for you to experience that. So you need that experience, because why? It still is not easy to, as a real still is not easy to be, to break, unless you mix a lot of chemicals that are able to make it dissolve. So that's why you're going through that. You are going through a spiritual development, going through a lot of inner development, whatever development, in order for you to make you strong. Yes, I don't like that. I don't like being told, yeah, you're going through that because you make you strong. I get irritated too. So, but I'm just gonna say you need that sometimes. You just need that experience without you realizing. So, spirit, God, source, your ancestors only want the best for you. That's why you have to go through that, because if the things that you want, for example, I manifested a lot of things that I wanted to manifest, but when they came, I was not pleased at all. Like, I was not pleased at all, like at all. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it goes back to be careful of what you wish for, because whenever you wish something, when it's here, you be like, oh, like, I can't believe I was so excited to do this, and the next thing you don't have energy for it, to the point that, like, I'll be like, okay, I can do this, and the next thing when it's come, I'm like, what the fuck, So be careful what you ask for, because it can eventually manifest back to you, and when it does, you probably won't even like it. That's why they have to be a higher power that show you the way. That's why you have to go through those experiences, because they know what's best for you. It's just that they don't want to show you all the way. They try. There's no such a thing. People who've got it figured it out. It's just that you are comfortable with what you are doing. You are comfortable with what you're doing. You feel like this is what you go, but you don't know. You might have write it down what you want to expect, but sometimes it's not going to always happen the same way that you want it to happen. Even it happen, probably won't be pleased. Instead, they want you to dream high. They want to see yourself in a most beautiful place where you are able to visualize yourself in the place that you want to be at. Because sometimes you won't even visualize. You'll be like, oh, there's no way that my YouTube can go up. Like, oh, there's no way people can listen to my music. There's no way. Like, but you need to see yourself and living in it. Like, you know, thank you guys for liking, for watching my YouTube channel, and I appreciate, and I'm also like available for donation if you feel like, nah, I want to donate, but I'm fixing that. Thank you, bye.